My mission is simple, to make you money. I'm here to level the playing field for all investors. There's always a bull market somewhere, and I promise to help you find it. Mad Money starts now. Hey, I'm Cramer. Welcome to Mad Money. Welcome to Cramerica. I'm doing my friends, just trying to make a little money. My job is not just entertain, but to explain how this week could happen. So call me at 1-800-743-CBC. Tweet me at Jim Cramer. Well, we got through this week's gauntlet with flying colors, didn't we? I almost can't believe it. We had a huge week of earnings, coupled with some great news from the Treasury Department about fewer long-term bond sales, a positive, benign Fed meeting, a decent Apple quarter, and the coup de grace of a soft landing unemployment number. Bye, 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 bye!
House of pleasure.
And voila, we crushed it, with the Dow gaining 222 points, S&P jumping 0.94%, and the Nasdaq screaming 1.38%, capping off a truly incredible week, the best week of the year. In fact, for all the major averages, which each gained somewhere between 5 and 7%, this is why I say you have to stay in. Don't do this stuff with a whamma jamma. It's wrong. It was a beautiful sight for the bulls and a nightmare vision for the bears, including the billionaires who blathered on endlessly about how there's no hope for you in the stock market. Oh, they did the best to scare you. I watched them. They were real good at it, but it wasn't good enough. And those who soldiered through were rewarded with a week that could make your entire year if you owned the right stocks. While it might seem surreal, this is not a strange phenomenon. When you're running money, when you're managing money, nearly all of your positive performance in a given year tends to come in just a handful of weeks, which is why I do always urge you to own stocks, not trade them, something I spell out constantly for members of the CNBC investing, not trading, investing club. If you approach stocks like a trader, there was so much negativity last week that I'm pretty sure you would have been spooked out of the whole market and you would not have owned any stocks on Monday when it started. Ultimately, you would have missed out on some precious bottoms from formerly free-falling stocks. Everything from the wayward Magnificent Seven to the myriad financial plays to even the black holes of entertainment and retail. So we have to ask ourselves, can the bulls continue to have the fabulous time like this? I'm not sure we can repeat this week. Not that we need to, but I think the bullish herd can continue to thunder as long as interest rates simply stay at this level. So with that in mind, what's the game plan for next week? Okay, so Monday, we hear from a host of really excellent companies that can provide some upside surprises. We've got two terrific oil and gas companies, Coterra, by the way, more natural gas than oil, that we own that for the Travel Trust, and Diamondback Energy, the fleet-footed Permian Basin oil producer known as FANG, after stock symbol. I like them both. You know what? I also like this, and I haven't talked about enough, unsung. Vertex Pharmaceuticals. They can deliver some surprisingly good numbers, but I care more about the work that they're doing on a powerful painkiller that would be non-addictive. Wouldn't that be something, how great that would be for the country? I also wonder if NXP Semi, the king of chips for the auto industry, will see its stock get crushed, like ON Semi, another chip maker that caters to cars. Bad quarter for anything that relied on auto manufacturing. I say be careful, NXPI. Tuesday, Emerson Electric, another Travel Trust holding, they are going to report. We're going to see how that hostile takeover of National Instruments pans out. Need to see some compelling synergies traced out here. We also hear from one of the greatest growth companies of the era that we've had on many times on our show, Celsius Holdings. I expect a solid beat and raise. Anything else from this energy drink play, and look out below. Now, the salient moment this week came when the 30-year Treasury bond went up in price and down big in yield. That ignited so many groups like banks and, more important, the home builders. That's why I'll be all ears when D.R. Horton, which has shot up like just a rocket this week. They speak on Tuesday. Seminal moment. They will talk about how they're ready to flood the zone with homes now that rates have seemed to peak. I hope so. I think Horton will be positive. I just don't know how positive. But as long as they don't dispute the big picture thesis, the rally can continue. After the close, we have two more oil companies, and they've been going in different directions. There's Devon, which has been very disappointing, and Occidental, which is the oil producer blessed by Warren Buffett. In fact, Buffett seems addicted to buying Occidental. As long as he's in there, I bet you'll make money. Well, you also get results from a company that we just talked about yesterday, Cava, the Mediterranean chain. I think you could put up some terrific numbers here. Oh, and I want to see how Rivian fares now that the electric vehicle backlash is upon us. They all do report these, let's say, these tertiary EV companies, and I want to see how they act. Wednesday begins. It's going to be tough. Warner Brothers Discovery, the heavily indebted entertainment company that needs to show continued debt pay down, as well as quality new programming and keep the sports programming because they need live programming. I'm worried. I'm not worried, though. Why? Because CEO David Zaslav's running the show, and I think he will deliver, because that's what he does. Speaking of consistent execution, we should see some terrific numbers from Ralph Lauren. Maybe this time the stock will get its due. It hasn't. That's wrong. So many people are still playing the guessing game of whether snack food will be hurt by the coming wave of anti-obesity drugs. So why don't we go to the source? Let's ask the team at Kellanova. That's the pure play snack company that emerged from the breakup of the old Kellogg. Everything from Rice Krispie bars to Pringles under one roof. Kellanova has to tell us where they see the industry's headed in the light of these new drugs. It's not enough to just say, you know what, we don't know yet. Take them, tell us. After the closed Disney reports, we need to hear some indication that there are strategic partners who want to pay Disney to do things with them. They need to come up with something big and keep showing improvement ahead of what could be otherwise a bruising proxy fight. Might be anyway. I await the numbers from ARM Holdings, especially the guidance, which could be incredible. ARM's a partner of NVIDIA, so it could give us a solid look at AI, but they're also going to be big in PCs and already in cell phones. I think it would be an amazing report. Next, I want to see from Take-Two Interactive. Can they keep delivering on their game plan? I hope they talk about what's to come with Grand Theft Auto, the best entertainment franchise in history. That last quarter, by the way, from Take-Two was very good. Wednesday, we'll also see some J-Powell. And we know he spoke a lot this week, but he's got some remarks both days. We got to hear about the end of the Fed's tightening cycle. Any sign that that's the case will verify what we heard, or at least we thought we heard on Wednesday. So 2 speeches. Will he contradict himself, clarify? Powell's inscrutable, but he's winning the fight against inflation. While it's way too early to take a victory lap, things are clearly going Jay's way. All right, Thursday, after the close, Trade Desk reports, and judging by the great things that Google and Roku have been saying, wow, that Roku, how about that stock, have been saying about online advertising, I think the Trade Desk can deliver a monster quarter. But the only problem here is that the stock did have a colossal move this week. You need a couple of down days between now and when they report to make this thing work. Another one that I know has a very good chance of not working, which is Illumina. They make gene sequencing systems that help pharma and biotech companies come up with new treatments. I predict that Illumina will once again disappoint. They'll stink up the joint, and then people are going to say, you know what? Maybe Thermo Fisher and Danaher can't be trusted, and the latter, Danaher, I think this time is a buy. You can't keep knocking it down on other people's mistakes. Friday, we have Michigan consumer sentiment, and I want to know whether things are gloomy because of the Fed's relentless fight against inflation. I find it incredible that we could have such strong employment, yet I expect a negative consumer sentiment reading, and then a host of chatter from the chattering classes that the Republicans will be the winner. But the bottom line, make no mistake about it, if you were invested fully in last week, and if you invested in this week, you should feel pretty darn confident. Now, we will not be oversold next week like we were when we came in on Monday, so I don't expect the kind of strength that we got this week. So if you have some positions you don't like, it's time to do... Sell, sell, sell. Get me? Let's go to John in California. John.
Hey, great to be on with you again, Jim.
And it's great here. Great.
Recently had your mezcal at the LA Tequila Fest. It was awesome. Congrats.
You had that? Oh, my God. For Phosphoro. I'll tell my wife right after the show. We're doing some signings tomorrow in Doylestown and then in Ardmore. Special guest coming in Ardmore.
It was awesome.
Thank you.
LA Tequila Fest showed well.
Yes.
Hey, my question is, I'm thinking of opening a position in CVX. Chevron is now the right time.
Well, I'll tell you, the stock has come down a great deal. I like their acquisition. I like Mike Wirth, but you're buying it at a good time because of 2 reasons. One, because yields are coming down, but second, because this stock got killed. And I know that it hasn't replenished like it should have, but now with that acquisition, I think you're in great shape. I like the acquisition very much. Let's go to Rizwan in Florida. Rizwan.
Yes, Jim. I'd like to know what's your take on Norwegian Cruise Line stock, NCLH.
Well, you know what? I'm a mixed motions on these guys. I mean, we did have Carnival this week. I wanted to say buy, but I also know that they still have a lot of debt, and people are very concerned about that. But people love the cruise. There's been no diminution of cruising. I think it's good, and if you want to buy some Norwegian or you can go on the Haven line with them, I say good as gold. All right, if you didn't fall victim to the panic and sell last week, then you're probably feeling pretty confident as the week wraps up. But use the strength to sell the ones you don't like next week because we are now overbought. Mad Money tonight. The utility sector used to be a safe haven for investors looking for a reliable dividend, but the group's been out of favor all year thanks to higher interest rates. So where does a company like American Electric Power fit in? I'm getting the latest from the CEO. Then you called in and you stumped me on CRH and SciTime. So tonight I'm turning in my homework and sharing what I think about these two names. And I'm also going to be sitting down with the CEO of Haleon. That's a leader of consumer health products. Get a better read on the health of the consumer. So stay with Cramer.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @JimCramer on Twitter. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadTweets. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.